Design theft sucks. Today we're going to talk about design theft and how you can stop giving your competitors a free ride. Today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest mistakes that creative event professionals can make, cost them a fortune. Not understanding this one mistake caused me to grow my competitors' businesses while spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of my own money in the process. Accidentally, of course. Welcome to the Event Secrets Podcast, where we talk about how to put on better events, take better care of our clients, and make a whole lot more money in the process. This is an all-action, no-fluff podcast full of actionable insights that you can follow, created specifically for event professionals. My team at Balloon Artisan creates some of the coolest balloon arches and balloon installations on the planet. And we've built some of the biggest ones as well. This right here, one of my favorites. This thing is huge, and we've built quite the reputation creating awesome stuff like this. This balloon right here, 8 feet tall. That one balloon, this whole thing was like 80 feet tall. It was massive, completely transformed a convention room. Anyways, we do really cool stuff. Many aspects of the event industry are really oversaturated. There are a lot of people doing the same thing, and balloon art is definitely no different. There are tons of balloon artists out there, and most of them are doing this more or less as a side hustle. It's one person, it's a part-time operation, they usually have a full-time job, or they're just trying to make some extra income on the side, which I think is super awesome, but it's a very saturated space. Our team at Balloon Artisan, not so much. We're all full-time. This is our jam. We do this all day, every day, and that's why we create such cool projects, right? But sometimes that bites us in the backside, and I want to tell you about that now. One of the things that we did for quite a while to differentiate ourselves was to invest a lot of money and resources into creating ultra high definition renderings of our projects. Now we did this so we could let our clients know, hey, this is what you can expect to see the day of your event in your space. This is what it will look like in your space with your color palette and all that stuff, because we were trying to go above and beyond for them and to convey that we knew what we were doing and that we had great designs and great ideas, and to really earn their trust. That's what we are doing. Now, I'm not talking about Canva renderings here. I am talking about high-end architecture, engineering, and design softwares that cost thousands of dollars a year just for the licenses alone. I'm talking the kind of software that if you know how to operate, you can get a full-time job making hundreds of thousands of dollars per year designing stuff in these softwares. Honestly, a bit overkill for balloons, but hey, we really wanted to show off and show our clients how committed we were to doing a great job for them. When we started doing the renderings, our goal was to get every single client that reached out to us a rendering of their installation in their venue. We wanted to really wow their socks off. We wanted to blow them away with our design skills and give them all the confidence in the world that yes, this is my team. And we thought that our closing rates would absolutely skyrocket. We thought it was going to be incredible for Balloon Artisan when we started doing this. The reality was our close rates plummeted. And we were doing a lot of different things at the same time, so we didn't really know like this was the cause. It actually took a couple years to figure this out, but it cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's why that happened. As I said a minute ago, there's tons of balloon companies out there, but most are one-person, part-time side gigs. The downside is because they're just doing this as a side gig, focusing on it nights and weekends, they don't have a lot of design experience. Because of this, and because they don't have a lot of time, their business systems end up being a bit janky. Sometimes it takes them forever to respond to clients. They're also trying to handle all the invoicing and the planning and the designing and the ordering and the inventory management. And they're doing the inflating and the building and the transporting and the installing and the takedown and all that stuff, all while balancing a day job. There's a cost of that, right? And that cost comes in the client experience. But there's a trade-off. It does cost more to work with Balloon Artisan, because we have a full time of people that have benefits and we're doing this legally and all that good stuff, right? And we'll be there for you, and we man the phones 18 hours a day or whatever it is, and we have 5 to 10 minute response times, and you can have a Zoom call with us and all that stuff, and you don't have to wait for us to get off work, or you don't have to wait for us to get the kid from school or whatever. And so, yeah, it can be more money than working with someone that's doing this out of their garage. We're a lot more expensive by comparison. So going back to these ultra high definition renderings and our plummeting close rates, what we were doing is we were taking all of our years of experience, right? Balloon Artisan is 13 years old now, and we are pouring these into a mock-up, into a design. We're giving away our secret sauce. And then as a way to build trust with our client and hopefully win their business, we'd be like, here you go, client. And they'd take it for free. And then what they would do is they would take that and they'd be like, wow, this is amazing. You guys weren't kidding. You really blew my socks off with this design. And then they'd go to their email and they'd email, the 5 other balloon companies they're talking to, and they send them our mock-ups and our renderings and like, hey, how much would you charge me for this, right? So what's happened here is we front-loaded the value that we were adding to this client. We did all these things. We put in all this time and energy for them. They now took that, forwarded it onto these one-person part-time side hustles, and gave that company a blueprint of exactly what they needed to do. Now, these are designs that most of our competitors would not be able to pull off without having a diagram or a blueprint of what it needs to look like. But with the diagram, unfortunately, they could pull that off. And so we were really shooting ourselves in the foot. Our competitors would get back to the client, and let's say, for something that we would charge $1,000 for, they would charge $500, right? So $1,000 for Balloon Artisan, and $500 for our competitor. And so what would happen is the client would all of a sudden forget that we'd been working with them for weeks now. We'd spent dozens of hours like going through ideas and designing things for them and creating these renderings and all that stuff. It would just kind of discount that, and they'd be like, wow, Balloon Artisan's twice the price as their competitor. I'm going with Susie's Balloons down the street. And we'd lose the sale. And not only that, because we are so expensive by comparison, because we did all this work that Susie down the street didn't do, we cemented the clothes for Susie. Because they're like, wow, this is a great value. I'm just gonna go with these guys. I'm not even gonna look anymore, right? And so I was paying a fortune to give away my secrets, to give away my secret sauce to my competitors, and to grow their business. I had given my competitors a free ride, and I did this for years. And like I said, it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Very expensive. And I kind of hate myself for doing that. I get really fired up when I think about this because it was such a painful learning experience for me, which is also why I'm excited to podcast about this, because I hope other people can learn from my mistakes and my experience so they don't have to do this as well. And if they are doing it, so they can know what's going on and they can stop it. But luckily, we were able to figure out how to navigate out of this problem. And of course, you're always going to have people that steal your ideas in the event space. That's inevitable. But we're really able to reduce the impact that these ultra high definition renderings were having on our business. Would you like me to tell you how I did it? Great, because I'm going to. To start out though, I'm going to tell you what we did not do. We were very frustrated about this. We brainstormed a lot of solutions. And one of the ideas was to create a contract that we'd have our clients sign, say, hey, if you don't go with us, you cannot hire any other balloon company to do this. And we realized that one, that's kind of a bad foot to start a relationship off on. And also, it probably wouldn't be enforceable anyways. And even if it was enforceable, like we're not going to go sue someone over a $1,000 balloon project or $2,000 or $10,000 or whatever. Like, it takes too much time and resources and energy. So any form of contract was off the table. We weren't going to be able to stop it that way. So this is what we did do. The first thing we did is we immediately stopped talking about any sort of renderings until we could qualify the prospect, until we knew that this was a client that would actually be willing to work with us, that wasn't just out price shopping a bunch of different companies and wasn't just looking for the lowest bidder. A client's ever in that situation, that's totally cool. We always tell them, hey, we're never going to be the cheapest. Like if you're really looking for like $200 for a balloon art, it's like we can't even touch that. Probably somebody that you find on Instagram or like down the road or whatever can do that, but that's not us, right? So we try to be really transparent with that. But then once we qualified the prospect, we're like, yes, this is a good opportunity, this is a good project, they see the value in a professional team that can really execute their vision and take great care of them, then we'll bring up the renderings. So this is how we do it. Like, hey, love your event. We love this idea and we know that we can really elevate this thing. We can take it to the next level, right? This is going to be the coolest ABC event ever. Holy cow, you're going to be blown away by it. What I would love to do for you is I would love to have our team create some really fantastic ultra high def renderings, right? Some really top of the line renderings to give you an idea of exactly what this will look like with your brand colors or your color palette for the baby shower, whatever it is, right? We'd love to do that for you. And then I just kind of wait and they say, wow, you do that for me? That sounds great. And then what I'd say next is what really made the difference for us. Now, quick caveat, these renderings do cost real money for us to deliver. Like our software licenses alone are thousands of dollars per year. Then we have to train our team to use them. A lot of times it was just me doing it. So whenever I was doing the renderings, I couldn't be doing other things. So there's that opportunity cost. And then when I did have team members that were trained up, I had to pay their salaries to do it. And a lot of times I had to pay them quite a bit because these were high demand skills. So the renderings cost us a lot of money. So we didn't want to just be giving these away willy-nilly, right? I would say, awesome. I am so excited to do this for you. I know you're going to love the results. Just so you know, these do take a lot of time from our team's schedule. This takes a lot of bandwidth and resources from us. So we can't really do them for free, but I want to show my appreciation to you for working with us as a client. I know this is the first of many great events that we're going to have together. And so I want to hook you up. I want to do something really special for you. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, what are you going to do? It's like, okay, if you give me X dollars, so X dollars, right? 250, 500, 1,000, whatever made sense for this project or this rendering, I will go ahead and I will render this project for you, have my, my renderers do this, and we'll get those designs back to you, and that will include a revision. Now, I don't want you to have to pay for the rendering because I know you weren't expecting that, and I know it's a lot to ask for a rendering. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that X dollars and I'm actually going to apply that to your account as a credit. So once we get the perfect design ironed out and we have all the details just how you want them, I'm going to take this credit and apply it to your full invoice, making the renderings absolutely free, right? And so if you don't get a rendering, great, you're still going to pay the same price as if you got the rendering. So let's just do it. Sound good? And so what this would do is, say if I got 250 bucks or whatever, and I maybe had $100 of hard cost, at the very least, even if the client took my renderings and ran off with them, at the very least, I'm still pocketing $150, which is really good margins. A lot better than balloons, I can tell you that. This reduced my risk from offering the service because my renderer was getting paid for, my software licenses were getting covered, and this also did something else. So right here we have, Balloon Artisan $1,000, and we have our competitor $500. If you are good at math, you'll notice that difference is $500. But I can actually separate this to make it seem not so painful and to make the difference not seem as extreme. And I can do that through this X dollars, right? So hey, Sally, if you pay me 250 bucks, ignore the X. We will render this and make sure that it turns out perfect and that you get the baby shower, the birthday, the grand opening, the corporate event, the convention, whatever that you wanted, right? So now Sally said, okay, that's great. And I'm like, okay, Sally. And once again, you're not paying for these renderings. We just need that because my rendering team will kick my ass. They'll beat me up if I give away free renderings, and they like feeding their families. And, as much as we love doing good in the world, we do have bills to pay and stuff, right? So, they laugh because my jokes are not that funny, but they give me a pity laugh, probably like what you're giving me right now. So anyways, we say 250 bucks. Sally says, great, that's awesome. So now Sally has a difference of $750 that she owes us if she goes with us. So what happens is she gets the renderings and she's still probably going to quote these out with our competitors. Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes that's enough money for people to be like, all right, I'm in, let's do it. And they don't want to walk away from that $250. But sometimes they'll still go and quote this out with our competitors. Now, same situation, we charge 1,000, our competitor charges 500. Instead of the difference of what she'll pay being $1,000 or $500, a difference of 500, now she's like, okay, well, I'm already 250 into it, so it's either do I want to work with these guys for $500 more or Balloon Artisan for $750 more. I've now decreased that perceived gap, and I've made it easier for my sales team to convey the value that we add. And so it's like, hey, Sally, I get it. There's people out there that will do this for less. And I've told you that from the beginning, right? But you've loved working with us, right? Yeah. And you love our designs, right? Yeah. And you love our team. Yeah. We've treated you fairly. Yeah. And we've gone back to you quick, right? Yeah. And you feel that we are vested in your event. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Did this person do all that? No. Okay. How long did it take them to get back to you? A day or two. Okay, yeah, cool. Our team, 15, 20 minutes, right? So a little bit of a difference there. Now, you liked our design. You came to us knowing we'd be more expensive. You liked our design, right? You didn't love their design. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked us for our design. So we have the better design, the better customer service. We've taken good care of you. We're friendly. You like us. We like you. And we're committed to make sure your event is awesome, right? Sally's going to go with us at that point. With the $500 difference, a lot of times people say it's just balloons and they won't go with us. But changing how we priced our renderings and how we handled things, that was a game changer for us. And we quit giving our competition a free ride. And I am not kidding you when I say this cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn this lesson. And I hate myself for it. As a quick summary, design theft sucks. Protect yourself from it. Don't let people take your good creative ideas. If you lose a project, that's okay, but make sure that you lost it for a fair reason, not because you did all the work up front and that somebody else just got to ride your coattails into success. You don't want to do that. It's not fun. If you know anyone else that's an event professional that would find what we talked about today valuable, feel free to share this podcast with them. When the podcast gets shared, it lets me know that people find this content valuable, so I know that I need to keep working on making new content. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, go find me. My name's Keenan Price. I'm the CEO of Balloon Artisan and the host of the Event Secrets podcast. Send me a connection request, shoot me a message. I love connecting with other event professionals. I feel like the event space can be kind of lonely at times, and the more friends we have in the space, I feel like the easier it is for us to do our jobs, to learn from each other, and to just have a whole lot more fun in the process. Thanks for tuning in to the Event Secrets podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode.